Hello guys, so before we get into the video, I want to talk about my Discord and Patreon. So first, let's start off with my Discord. I have a public Discord. Link to that's be in the description. In there, we talk about MvM and other stuff about TF2 all the time. And we've got some pretty nice folks in there. And if you guys want to join that, I'll sometimes get in there, play MvM with some of the people in there, TF2 and whatnot. So if you're interested in talking with some cool peeps and whatnot, join the Discord. Link is in the description. And if you guys love my content and want to help me continue with what I do, I have a Patreon. For just $1 a month, you guys can help support the channel. And not only that, you'll get you get access to exclusive content and early access to certain videos. So link to that will be in the description as well. You can check out all the perks listed there, and you can support me for more than $1 if you want. But of course, as I always say at the end of my videos, I appreciate just a sub and a like. So with that being said, let's hop into the video. Trigger warning. Sort of sad I have to have this at the beginning of this video, but to prevent as much harassment as possible, I'm putting this here. Trigger warning. I'm be talking about the controversial subject of Pyro versus Demoman and MvM. I'm be talking about both factual and experience, pros and cons about both classes, and my personal opinion. Please be civil and mature in the comments, and if you can't be, just click off and don't leave anything. Thank you. Hello everybody, this is Nitro005 here, and today we're talking about Pyro versus Demoman in MvM. Probably one of the biggest controversial subjects in MvM, and the biggest can of worms anyone can open up and dig their hands into. And today, I'm going to be going into this can of worms without hesitation, giving both pros and cons about both classes, and then, of course, my personal opinion. So first, let's start off with a little bit about the war and what it is. So, Pyro versus Demoman in MvM, aka no Pyro in MvM. This is probably the second biggest war, other than Toxic Players versus Low Tourism being the biggest and most common one I see. This is probably the second biggest one. Again, it's also a really big can of worms open, because there's a lot of people that say negative things about Pyro, and yeah, I mean, let's just be honest, the hatred probably carries a little bit over from Casual and how he is there. But I only really see three groups on the Pyro versus Demo war, and pretty much the three groups are: he's a gas spammer, as I like to call a gas passing fool. He doesn't deal enough damage, or people just don't care what you play. I like those people. Those people are cool. Unfortunately, I never have really heard of pro Pyro players. So if there are some people out there that religiously think Pyro should be played instead of Demoman, I'd like to know your thoughts on why and whatnot, because it'd just be interesting to hear from every side, because I really don't hear much from that side. So if there are people out there watching this video, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know what you think. Seriously, it'd be cool. But that's pretty much it for the war. So let's start talking about the pros and cons about both classes. I'm going to start with Pyro first. So, Pyro. First, we'll start off with his pros, and then we'll move into his cons. So, Pyro pros. What could be good about Pyro? Most of you people that don't believe Pyro can be good. Let's talk about some of his pros. So, as much as people think this is a negative, this is a positive. He's a new player class. Unfortunately, Demo is a more advanced variant of Pyro, and by more advanced, I mean, well, more advanced variant. And everyone needs a beginning point, and Pyro is one of those classes where it's just easy for someone to start off with. The constant damage output and everything, which is also another one of his pros, makes him very viable for MvM, in the sense for new players. And of course, he also has other abilities that make them useful in here too. Another thing that Pyro teaches is resistances. A lot of people will learn that Pyro dies very easily, and getting the wrong upgrades for Pyro will definitely lead in your own termination. So, because of that, it makes people start focusing resistances, which is a good habit to get into, being that sometimes if you're not good at dodging, or, you know, you're going to play soldier or something, it is sometimes important just to get resistances first, you know? So, it teaches them good habits if they actually learn from the mistakes, that is. Another thing about him, and this is just a fact, he's a medic destroyer. Pyro is one of the 3 classes that can instantly destroy medics with an ability. The only 3 classes that have this ability is Demo, Sniper, and Pyro. Now, of course, you can argue that a soldier can do it with crits and whatnot, but of course, I'm talking about people that either have an upgrade for it or can instantly do it off the bat. And the only 3 people that can do this is Sniper, Pyro, and Demoman. No one else has the capability of instantly destroying a medic, basically, with low cash. He has air blast capabilities. A lot of people might think that I might have not included this one, but this one is actually a pretty cool one because this is where a lot of stuff can come into play, especially on Metro Malice, where there's a lot more projectiles on the map, and Pyro can be extremely useful here, gaining well over 120,000 damage if you're good. So that's pretty much that. So another thing he's good for is tank destruction. A lot of people might hate Pyro, but when it comes down to it, people use him for tank destruction all the time. Taking him with the Flog on Rottenberg to be able to destroy tanks, of course, makes everyone's life easy, setting a Pyro just on the tank, just to take it out. And, of course, most high swordsmen can try to argue me there, but this is definitely a well-known strategy for all high swordsmen. I said it earlier, constant AoE damage output. It's great for newer players, just so they have something to keep continuously going. Another thing about him is he doesn't need crits. Unlike the Demoman counterpart, because like I said, this is Pyro vs. Demo, he does not need crits to do his effect. He himself has an upgrade for it. And not that, he can also get constant crits. You don't need crits, of course, to destroy Uber medics, but he doesn't need to be crit charged in order to gain crits. He has stuff like the discount backburner, aka the Dragon's Fury, or he has the backburner, which gives him crits, and it teaches players to stay behind and use him properly. So, of course, that's another argument to why he's very good. Now, this one might seem weird, but this is a double-edged sword, as well as a few other ones in this, and I'll get into that with the cons. He's not overkill. Now, you might be thinking that's an odd one to put as a pro, but there are some people that do not like Demoman with his overkill abilities and just getting critted all the time. And trust me, I've had people complain about it when I played Demo a lot. It can get really annoying. Some people actually want to play this game. So, you know, just check with your team, make sure they're okay with you destroying everything, because not everyone's like that. So, there is a pro to him. He doesn't kill everything. And the last one that I have is that he has a lingering effect with the gas passer. The lingering effect allows him to destroy medics a lot more easily, just in case he might mess up or throw a little bit early. It gives him advantage and newer players a little bit of inspiration, so just in case they do happen to mess up, he can still sort of maybe pull it out of his butt. So that's pretty much all the pros I have thought up for Pyro. If you have more pros, let me know in the comments. Of course, that same will go for cons and as well for Demoman. So if you do have more pros or cons, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking. So with that, let's get into the cons. So, Pyro cons. What could be wrong about this perfect little alien human thing? A lot of things can be wrong, and the things being wrong with him are some of his pros. He's got a lot of double-edged swords to him. He's a new player class. A lot of new players tend to take Pyro without knowing what they're really doing, and it can really take from the effect where people sort of say he has a low damage output. And this is probably part of the reasoning, because a lot of new players take him and don't know what they're doing. Another one is that he's squishy. I did mention this, that it teaches people how to get resistances, but to people who don't learn, they will learn very quickly that he's squishy. And, you know, that can end up to disaster if they actually don't learn from the mistake of him being squishy and changing to focusing resistances rather than their damage or whatever the hell they're upgrading. He's not overkill. Unlike Demoman, if you just really want to beat something quickly or have a really bad team, Pyro really doesn't have that overkill ability to him to where he can instantly kill everything and get the match done over with, or really severely help your team and keep everything at bay. So he does have that disadvantage to him. But again, as I said, this is more for people who want to play the game and actually, you know, take part in dealing with stuff. He doesn't have instant gas. You have to build it through damage, and that's why a lot of times where the stock flamethrower and everything isn't really good for Pyro, you sort of have to use something that allows him to build the gas faster, which is the Dragon's Fury, the Fog, or the Gas Pass, or the Backburner. Something that gives him a damage bonus, because crits really fills the gas faster fast, and other things like that. So he does have that disadvantage. I mean, you can put into recharge rate, but that's 1,000 credits to max out, and it's really not worth it. Just learn how to play Pyro right in that case. He can have a low damage output. Again, that goes back to the thing of people taking stock and not really know what they're doing. If you do know what you're doing, he can have a fantabulous damage output. As I said, he can have nearly 120,000 damage on Metro if you absolutely know what you're doing by Wave 5. By the end of Wave 5. Short distance attacker. Unlike Demo, who does have distance to him, Pyro does not have distance, other than his throwable gas passer. In order to build it, or deal the damage, he has to get in close and deal the damage. So that is a disadvantage to him, but again, if you know what you're doing, it won't be too much of a problem. And, I did mention it earlier, spamming, the only way you can really spam is by putting the 1,000 credits into recharge rate, and putting 1,000 credits into recharge rate is not what you should be doing. You should be focusing the resistances and the proper upgrade patterns of Pyro, rather than focusing the recharge rate of the gas passer, which, I mean, you can end up killing a lot more with that, and dealing a lot more damage, but at the same time, you could end up dying a lot more, and if you're the actual meta killer, that can be very, very tragic and bad for your team. So that's pretty much all the cons for Pyro. Again, if you got more, leave me a comment saying something. Other than that, let's hop into his counterpart, the Demoman. So, Demoman. Demoman? What makes me a good Demoman? These pros make him a good Demoman in MvM. So, some of his pros is he is a medic destroyer here. It's one of his upgrades. Not his upgrades. In fact, he doesn't have an upgrade for it, which makes him definitely a little bit more efficient than Pyro at medic destroying, being that you don't actually need an upgrade to do his job, which does give him an advantage over Pyro. And so, yeah, that is something he has over Pyro, most definitely. He is a giant destroyer. He can take out a giant scout with max damage on the sticky bomb launcher and the Scottish Resistance, putting out max stickies. As long as it's not an armored Sandman scout, he can take it out with just 14 normal stickies. But give him crits and boy, new doors open, and he can literally destroy pretty much any giant that comes out the gate other than major bosses. So he has extreme damage capabilities to him, which makes him great. And I said it in the Pyro cons, he has long distance, allowing him to escape more dangerous situations, unlike Pyro, where he can get caught up, even with his resistances, because just feels like sometimes it takes extra damage, and Demo has this ability to escape. So this also gives him another advantage. He gets to focus damage first. Unlike Pyro, he can't focus damage too much because he's got to get those resistances under his belt, where Demoman's more sitting back and can escape easily, and he doesn't feel like he takes as much damage as Pyro, so, I mean, even without resistances. So, I mean, Demoman has that going for him. He has an instant output. Unlike the Pyro, who has to build his gas passer back, Demoman only has to reload a sticky bomb launcher in order to do his job, which definitely gives him big advantage over Pyro with dealing damage and getting medics destroyed efficiently. Demo is overkill. This is just great for high tourismen that are working together, or just people that want to get it done quickly and efficiently. Give Demoman a good crit medic, and ooh boy, that match is going to go smoother than hell. I know this because in Empire, I racked over 230k damage with him. That is just unbelievable how much he can deal. It is amazing. But that's all the pros I can think of about Demoman. So if you have more, of course, comments down below, let me know. So with that out of the way, now let's hop into Demoman's cons. So, cons for Demo. What could be wrong about a black Scottish Cyclops? Well, much like Pyro, there are some double-edged swords to Demoman. One being overkill. Some people just do not appreciate the overkill of Pyro. The overkill of Demoman. And I tend to agree sometimes. Sometimes I just want to sit down and just have fun in a match rather than just overkilling everything. In fact, that's most of the time. I don't really like overkilling everything. So, when I played Demo a lot of people, there were people that complained about doing nothing. And then I know also what it feels like to do nothing, because I was also one of those people that did not enjoy sitting there watching a Demoman kill everything. So, yeah, his overkill is a double-edged sword, whether people want to admit it or not. He is definitely more advanced. Unlike Pyro, where you're just throwing a gas canister in the general direction of medics and giants and troops and whatnot, to deal explosive damage, Demoman definitely takes some laying out and knowing where you're going to put your stickies. You have to understand where medics are going to drop to place your stickies to blow them up, and of course, plot it out, especially with the Scottish resistance, since that's definitely the most used. And to kill giants and everything, you definitely need to know where they're dropping with that to get the crits and whatnot, and there's definitely a lot more into play with Demoman in that aspect. So he does have that negative to him. He's more advanced, and you can argue that all you want, but it's sort of true, guys. No constant damage. He doesn't have a constant damage output. I mean, you can argue that he can sticky spam, but even with that, you have to reload. Unlike the Pyro, who's using a flamethrower all the time, you have to reload with the sticky bomb launcher. It does take away from what I call constant damage output. And I mean, that's most players in this game. I mean, that's most guns in this game, other than Heavy and Pyro. But again, they're the only two with a constant damage output, and it does give them an advantage in that aspect. And of course, Demoman doesn't have Air Blast. I mean, do I really need to say much more than that? He doesn't have Air Blast. He can't blast projectiles back at people. That's pretty much it. No other class can do that other than Pyro. Whatever. I just want to throw that in. He definitely needs crits. It's to do his giant destroyer job. Whether it's buying crit canteens or having a crit medic, Demoman cannot kill giants without crits. It's at least not in one go. And of course, if a Demoman doesn't pop a big quick fix medic properly, it can end up popping its Uber if not killed properly. So there are some negatives to him. I mean, argue me or not, he can't kill a giant in one go without that damn crit charge. So that's that. Nothing else. Another thing is pocket medic. This might seem like why is this here? Or your team should be able to handle it. Well, also keep in mind, there are some, newbies that might need the medic a little bit more on them, and Demo can pretty much take the medic and make him a pocket med, giving no crit charges to the other teammates, and it's taking the healing source away at times, and just making a big hassle out of things sometimes. So, I mean, yeah, it's nice that he can deal that much damage, but it's also sometimes just a curse. Just saying. He can be squishy. As I said, Demo definitely focuses damage first. And anytime I play Demo, I haven't had an issue with this, unless my team's not too good itself. Oh, but you can end up dying a lot because you have to focus the sticky bomb launcher and getting the damage and getting the reload up on it and the firing speed first, and the damage before you can even try to focus into anything else. So he can be squishy, especially when the team is not so good. And for the last con I have for him is he has a chance to pop the medics and whatnot. If you lay a trap and you get critted, it's one chance. You don't have a lingering effect. Once you pop that trap, once you pop the stickies, they're used. You have to put them down again in order to do it. That's a fact. He's one shot. And again, this isn't problem for Hydra, but for a newer player, this tends to cause the most issues. Just saying. So, that's everything I could think of. Again, if you've got more cons, let me know in the comments. That's it. So, my personal opinion about Pyro, Demo, and should Pyro be used, and yada yada yada, all the good stuff. So let's get in. I don't care what someone plays. Me personally, I don't really care to play Demo at all. And I tend to actually try to avoid the class because I like sitting down and playing the matches. I mean, if there's a time where I just want to beat everything, then I just hope and pray someone else goes to Demo and I play something else, because I don't like being the guy usually taking all the damage. I'm usually not that guy, because I'm usually the guy, sitting there doing work as Spy, Sniper, or some other class, some other weird variant of somehow playing, the Medic Destroyer. I'm usually just the guy playing the weird random classes. So, I mean, I don't care what people play. You can play Demo, you can play frickin' Pyro if I'm playing. Should Pyro be used? Yes! I believe he's a great starting class for newbies. As much as people hate it, it gives people a basic beginning ability to learn where medics are going to drop and everything. It just teaches them, it lets them observe the levels and learn more about it. And, I mean, there are people that don't learn from anything, and I mean, that's a thing that happens, but there are several people that do learn. And I think it's stupid to exclude Pyro because some new classes take it. It's because they want to be able to learn how to play. And trust me, Pyro is a good starting point. As much as people want to disagree with that, in my opinion, he's just a good starting point. He was my starting point and taught me how to play a good Demoman in MvM. I can pretty much play Demoman on any of the 4 maps if I really wanted to. And that's pretty much it. And not that, I mean, Pyro is really good on Metro Malice. Being able to air blast projectiles back at things, holding the wave, making the wave a little bit easier, especially on wave 4 or in 5 when there's a whole bunch of crits coming out. Rockets coming out, such as here on wave 4. Major crits. Comes out with shooting also a whole bunch of rockets, and Pyro's sitting here coming clutch, shooting them all back, making him basically useless and redundant. And on wave 5, there's a whole bunch of soldiers that come out with frickin' mini crits, and they come out with normal rockets, and one that comes out crits, just blast them right back, and basically you can hold the bottom while everyone takes out the giant fist of steel heavies on top. Like, there's some advantages to him that they were there, and I mean, a lot of new players don't know about this, but they should be taught this, because, the more they learn, the better efficiently they can play. So, as for that, I think that both of them have it, and honestly, I think Demo just is better on some maps, especially on like Empire. Empire is just his territory. He can destroy pretty much anything he freaking touches on that map. Out with a single freaking sticky trap with crits. It's really amazing. I just think that it really depends on the situation and what's going on. If it's a bunch of new players, you know, maybe just let someone take Pyro. You know? No, but if you think you're confident, but if you're confident enough, take Demo and say, I can do it better. And, you know, prove it. So, be able to prove it. Basically, what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what someone plays. Does it have to be that big of a deal? Don't be a twat about everything. Be nice about it. Just explain it to them. Instead of being some frickin' twat, being some toxic asshole saying, oh, don't play Pyro, he's stupid. You're stupid for picking him. You know, just explain it. Be nice. Explain your reasoning. Don't be a twat about it. That's just my personal opinion. And it'd just be a lot better that way anyways. But hey, what do I know? What do you think? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I'd like to know. But that's pretty much it for this video. I'm hoping that most of the comments are going to be civil down there. I mean, people that probably made it to this end probably going to be civil, question mark. But people who probably seen the pros of Pyro probably quit halfway through them and left a mean comment or something. I don't know. But that's all I have for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, remember, leave no one behind, and I'll see you guys then.